What is going on, boys? Joey Franzo here with Flex Training Systems. It is May 30th. I am 1 week and 4 days, 1 week, so I'm 11 days out from my flight to Sweden. Just keeping up with the weekly videos. Team is looking really strong. Excited to get this over with, and then we can focus on the state meet, and then we're getting ready for nationals. And that is what I am talking to you guys about here today. We're going to talk about how you're getting into Raw Nationals, right? The different ways that you can do that. And I wanted to leave you guys with a little tip on gripping the bar for Sumo. Just something simple but very effective that I think makes a big difference, that I'm seeing a lot of benefits with my people. So here we go. All right, so there's two separate ways that you can qualify for Raw Nationals. One of those ways being that you need to hit the qualifying total. I think that is the most common method of making Raw Nationals. I think that's the one everybody already knows about. There is another way to get in. That way being, you have to achieve a top 3 placing at a 2019 USA Powerlifting regional event. You have to do it raw. It has to be in the weight class that you want and in whatever division it is that you want to do at nationals. I'm pretty sure that the rule is, unless it's changed, that if you qualify for nationals, let's say in the 83s, for example, and you want to move up to 93s, you can do that if your lower total exceeds what you would need in the higher class, but you can't go backwards, if that makes sense. The reason why I wanted to talk about this topic today is because the qualifying totals did change. They are a little bit higher than they have been historically. And believe it or not, there's no shame in this, but there are some people that it's just out of reach for them. I mean, what would be the point of doing a competition that has a qualifying total if literally everybody could get in? Why not just make it open registration if that's the case? I think we're going to see similar numbers to what we've seen in the past. I don't think it's going to knock that many people out, but there are some people that can't get in. And I just wanted to provide some perspective on the situation to help those people that aren't able to qualify at the moment. So first off, if you really, 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 really want to make nationals, I think you should try out your regional competition. It'll be more legit, if that makes sense. It's going to be a little bit more serious. I think there's going to be national judges, which means you can take national records. The judging is going to be closer to what you're going to deal with at nationals. And yeah, I mean, it's a good way to get in, especially if you're in the juniors. I mean, getting third place at a meet like that in the juniors shouldn't be too hard, or whatever division that you're in. Not as many people are going to be able to show up to it, so I think you'll have a much better chance, if you can't make the qualifying total, of doing that. And I know that there's going to be a significant amount of people that can't make the qualifying total, but will get in through that method, so that they can experience Raw Nationals. And I mean, I think that's fine. It's like a way of kind of trying to include people. If I wanted to be super extreme, I'd be like, nationals should only be top 10. You know what I mean? So, but that would create a whole different atmosphere, and we probably wouldn't have a crowd, because powerlifting is not spectator sports. Usually just the people that were there already competing, that were watching. Those are the two ways to get into nationals. And, something you need to keep in mind is that these qualifying totals were just created off of the prior data, right? Prior data. This is the first year these QTs are being implemented. That being said, these qualifying totals, people are expected to get stronger over time and be able to hit this qualifying total. And I would imagine within 3 to 5 years, these totals are going to be no good, because everybody's going to be that much stronger and they'll need to make new ones. That's pretty much how it goes. So you have to understand that if you don't make it in your first year or your second year, you could probably make it in your third year. You just have to keep working and understand that the people that are helping, like the people's totals that they use to kind of dictate this baseline, they've probably been training for a super long time. I mean, they had to have if they're going to be that top percentage that's going to affect where the middle ground is. So you have to understand that. Give it some time. Keep training. That total is not going to change for a little while, and you will, eventually be able to get in around nationals nice and easy, and you'll be good to go. Um, so it's no shame if you can't make it now. Again, these are new totals, and just the way things are going, people are going to get stronger. You're gonna eventually be able to get in by just training. So you guys got to understand that it's not like this is it. You're never gonna make gains and you're never gonna get in. It's like no, like there's a total. It's probably just out of reach for some of you. You just keep training. You'll eventually get there, and you have to understand that this is a new thing. When I first started lifting, obviously I wasn't as strong as I was now, but I kept training, and now I don't even remember the last time I had to think about a qualifying total in terms of hitting it. And if you stick with the sport long enough, I guarantee, unless something drastically changes in powerlifting, that you'll be able to do that too. So I mean, long story short, just keep working, and if you really want to get in like sooner, then just hit up your regional competition. There's a lot of different ones all around. I'm looking at the thing right now. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe it's 9 different places that are going to have a regional competition, and it's spread all around the U.S. So you should be able to get in one way or another. Raw Nationals is, in my opinion, the biggest. It's the biggest meet in the world, in my opinion. Just by the sheer amount of people that are into it, the competition's insane. It's super fun to see like most of the team. I mean, obviously this is going to be the meet where most of my guys are going to be there, and it's always a great time. So I always try to just make sure that meet is the best experience possible. That is the meet that I usually plan for. I plan people around that meet. If I know I'm going to have them for a year, Nationals Raw Nats is the one that I do it for, just because I know that Raw Nationals is a gateway to the Arnold. It's a gateway to Worlds. It gets you into the next Raw Nationals. So if you do Raw Nationals, it is like the earliest possible meet that you can do to qualify for the next Nationals coming up. So, just keep working. And it sucks that when people can't make it, but I mean, you got to earn your stripes. You know what I mean? I've definitely had to earn mine, and I'm sure a lot of the guys on the team that you guys look up to will tell you the same thing. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for now about Raw Nationals. I want to transition to the next topic, which is just going to be just deadlift grip on the sumo deadlift. I touched on this briefly in my last video, but I see a lot of people missing sumo pulls due to grip. Why is that? Right, exponentially more than I would see on conventional. Well, if you look at when people are deadlifting sumo, look where their hands are. They're gonna run into their legs, right? Usually, most people do not have the luxury of being able to lock out their deadlift right as or right before their hands touch their thighs. That being said, you're gonna run into your legs, which is going to create more friction, which is going to make the lift much harder than it would be if you were pulling conventional, and just the bar sliding up against your legs. When your hands get involved, I mean, first off, if you look at the way our fingers are designed, they're padded and they have grip at the end. If you rub the top of your hand on a table, it'll slide. But if you put your fingers, like just all 5 fingers on the table gently, and you just slide your hand across, you're gonna feel more resistance, right? Because our fingers are designed to have some grip. That plus how long your nails are, just having nails in general, you're gonna have to deal with all of that when you're trying to lock out on sumo. And a lot of the time, it's not really like you're pretty much at the easiest part of the lift in terms of like the angle of your femurs, and you're done. You're basically done. A lot of people, but they're not consciously, this is the key here, you have to consciously think about grip. If you're pulling mixed specifically, I mean, it can help with hook also, but hook is kind of more autopilot in the sense that once you're locked in, you just stay locked in. And it's much harder to unravel a hook grip than it is a mixed grip. So if you're doing mixed grip and your top hand, so wherever your nails are facing your body, they're gonna scratch, right? If you don't really think about your hands and really make sure that you're squeezing tight, and use that thumb to push down on your middle finger and your index finger as hard as you possibly can throughout the lift, throughout that sticking point, your hands are going to start to unravel a little bit. That and a combination of you locking out is going to kind of rotate the bar in your hands. And now the bar is rolling down into your fingers. Now the bar's starting to gain some momentum. And in combination with you locking out, some people, when they're standing perfectly vertical, their shoulders are higher than when they lock out, because when you lock out, you kind of lean back a little bit. This is going to give the bar even more momentum. The bar is going to get into the lower part of your hand, and if your grip is not super strong or you don't have ridiculously long fingers, you're going to lose it. That being said, it's just a matter of, as you go up to the bar, taking the time to get your hand set and like being aware of it throughout the movement. I can literally, all you have to do is just remember to do it. Like it's there's a lot of people that are their mixed grip is strong. It's a very strong, it's a strong grip. You just have to remember to grip. You have to remember to hold that bar in tight. Eventually, like all cues, like all technique, like everything that we do, it becomes second nature. You won't need to think about this. But for whatever reason, it just seems like the grip is the last thing that we think about. It's the last thing that we kind of pay attention to. I mean, sometimes people use straps. Sometimes people get lax in training. They get everything tight, but they just don't lock their hands down. They're not consciously flexing their forearms and really trying to, stand. I say stand tall, make your arms long, and really just kind of crank yourself into that bar. If you're not getting those hands set, it's not gonna happen, and you're gonna drop it when the bar gets up top. This can happen unconventional for all the reasons that I mentioned, aside from the bar touching your leg. I mean, sometimes you're a big boy, kind of like me with my thighs, and that center knurl is rubbing up against your legs, which can be a problem, but it's way less of a problem than it is when my hands are hitting my legs. Not only are your hands rubbing against your legs, but they're also kicking the bar out in front of you, obviously, because, we can't have, it's not just the bar up against your thighs, it's your fingers in between the distance. So you have like an inch between, where the bar is sitting up against your legs. So it just creates space, pushes the bar out in front of you, and sometimes it makes it impossible. You may even see some windmill action. People start windmilling in the middle of their deadlift. So really all I'm telling you is, hey, if you're dropping your bar right at lockout on mixed grip sumo, just fucking think about it and have somebody tell you. If you pull conventional, think about it, right? Just think about it anyway. Make sure your hands are locked down and get that grip nice and solid. It's just, sometimes we just need someone to tell them, right? This is me telling you. Just in sumo, obviously, we're running into more friction. We're running into other variables, so it's a problem sometimes. So, I mean, it's just a common thing. I've been seeing it. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. I've been seeing it like some of my lifters, like other lifters here and there. You guys know Amanda Lawrence. When she came to me, that was like a main thing for her, and it was simply just telling her to grip the bar and making sure that she's getting her hands locked in and tight and consciously squeezing, especially if you have short fingers and small hands. You can't afford to let any space happen in your hands. You have to just be as tight as possible. You can't lose any power, especially on that initiation off the floor. Also, if you guys are tearing your hands, it's usually because your grip is not strong, right? Your grip is not strong. You're letting your hands get lax. You're creating movement in your hands. So that bar is going to start rolling or moving in your hands along with the plates or whatever, especially on kilos, right? And your fingers are going to tear. It's like, it happens all the time. I've literally never torn my hands ever in a mixed grip. It's never happened, but I grip the bar. It's not... I would say my deadlift is like it's straight muscle. I don't really have... I have my technique as good as I can get it for me, but it's like I hold the bar in the deepest part of my hand, so I'm increasing my range of motion, but I need to do that because I cannot sustainably hold the bar in my fingers. right? So I'm picking the lesser of two evils to achieve a goal, right? And now that I have this down, right, I'm holding the bar in my palms. I'm using the opposite side of my knuckles. It's hard to explain. It's kind of like um, the pads right below the first joint on your finger to press down on the bar. And then I'm just gripping that bar as tight as possible so that when I initiate, there is no movement happening in my hands, right? There's absolutely none. Um, and it's always served me ever since I started implementing that, and I've never had any problems. You guys saw I pulled that 675 in the gym. I locked out that 683 at the Arnold's, but they said my knees were, I don't know what they said. I think they said I hitched slightly, but I mean, it was kind of an involuntary thing. I don't have as much experience hitting an RPE 10 like that. It was kind of a send it moment to go for 1900. I already knew in my mind before I pulled it, like, oh, I should just go 672. But Tina was just like, send it. And I was like, all right, fuck it. But in retrospect, I always regret the send it. So I don't know why. I guess I didn't care as much in that moment after how good squats and bench went. But anyway, enough about me. It's about you guys. Yeah, I hope those grip tips helped. It's really just being conscious about your grip. What are you actually doing? Squeezing the bar as tight as possible. If you get the bar locked in and you have no movement in your hands, then you can fight through sticking points. You can prevent your hands from tearing, and you can lock out. It's such a shame when you finish, you literally pull all the way to the top and you just drop it on grip, right? And then you go, let's say you go in the back and you try it again and you remember your grip this time and you get it. It's like, man, such a pain. So I hope that helped. Double topic video today, like I've been doing. Try to talk about, a key and then just, anything else that I'm trying to fit in here. But yeah, 11 days till I head to Worlds. Squad's looking great. If you haven't seen Russ's last pull on the gram, go check it because he's looking A1, brothers. Nah, he's looking really good. I'm proud of everyone. I'm proud of the girls. That's gonna be fun to watch. I'm excited to get this show on the road. Excited to come back here and get to work. And we got Tournament of Power 2019 coming up October in Chicago, and we're bringing the best fighters this universe has to offer. Let me get a Tournament of Power 2019 in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for making it this far. I appreciate each and every single one of you. We are probably gonna do a flex shirt sale very soon because we want to wipe it out and just do a new inventory. I am not sure though. I need to talk to Tina about that, but I do remember her mentioning it. So if you guys are new to the team, which many of you are, that's the time to get it. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I hope this helped, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.